Welcome, I'm Joel Pelsu with Arts and Entertainment Ministries, and this is our series on Christianity and creativity, and today's topic is feedback. Every great student knows the best teachers give the most helpful feedback and the most insightful critiques. Why? Because you don't grow if you're not being pushed. Like hiring a personal trainer for physical health, we need creative feedback if we're going to be faithful with the gifts God given us in the arts. We need to continue to seek healthy criticism and feedback way beyond our years in school. The problem is this: we're all drawn to people who think like us, who love the same food, art, entertainment we love. We're hardwired to find community where we feel at home, where we can let our hair down. At first it's your family and your church community, then maybe school, your friend groups, colleagues, and co-workers. And the ever-present temptation is to pursue comfort and stop growing. The result is life in a bubble, not unlike people in our culture who live in a politically partisan bubble, a cultural bubble, or even a spiritual bubble. And this can happen in small town communities where everyone has similar values, and that's what we think of, but it also happens in elite circles, like the leaders of elite museums and galleries. They read the same magazines, attend the same universities, and hold the same views in art and culture. You don't need to look far to see communities to become their own bubble. Even an artist can live in a creative bubble. Creative bubbles are where everyone we talk to and get feedback from already loves us, our work, and agrees with everything artistic we decide to make. The result is life in a bubble. Not unlike people in our culture who live in a politically partisan bubble, cultural bubble, or even a spiritual bubble. And this can happen in a very small town community where everyone has similar values. It also happens in elite circles, like leaders of elite museums and galleries. They read the same magazines, attend the same universities, hold the same views on art and culture. You don't need to look far to see communities that become their own bubble. Even an artist can live in a creative bubble. Now, creative bubbles where everyone we talk to and get feedback from already loves us, our work, and agrees with every artistic choice we make. It may not be a perfect bubble, but in general, you agree on those things. Now, artistic growth, relational growth, and spiritual growth all require feedback that makes us uncomfortable. And this results in breaking our own bubbles. We learn to consider different art movements, philosophies, political viewpoints, and so on. You get the point. The vibrant life is not found in a bubble. Experiencing the good life where you grow creatively and spiritually requires new experiences, new conversations, and listening to those with whom you disagree. Well, now to be clear, there's a real difference between stability and living in a bubble. We all need a solid foundation for our life in order to thrive. We need healthy financial foundation, a healthy spiritual foundation. These foundations provide an anchor and a platform that gives us confidence and then freedom. I'm not saying compromise these foundations. What I am saying is that you need to be engaging and listening wisely to feedback from others. So much is changing now at a rapid pace. We all need to be considering how are we adapting to new opportunities and challenges in the market, as well as modes of creating. Think of virtual reality or augmented reality, brand new frontiers. Now, we don't need to question our faith in Christ, but we do need to be open to feedback in our work, in our relationships, and open to feedback in our creative processes and even our creative products. Even pastors and theologians need other professors and pastors to challenge them, give them pushback for each other, because we all have our blind spots. So why do we avoid healthy criticism and remain in our bubbles? Well, the first reason is fear. We may be afraid of personal rejection or rejection of our gifts or even our art. And fear of rejection can block us from ever getting the healthy criticism and constructive criticism we need. Second is ignorance. Simply don't know better. They've not grown enough as an artist to realize how much they don't know. Third is denial. People who think they already know what they need to know and don't need to keep growing. Simply foolish. Great writers still employ editors, great musicians never stop learning new techniques and hearing from colleagues. Painters have to pay attention to what sells, what doesn't. Even Pixar, with all their successes, hire people to come from the outside of the company to teach the mechanics of great storytelling. They never stop focusing on the key essentials. The fourth is despising the views of others. Now, this happens when people become prideful in their own status, accomplishments, or creative culture, and they refuse to listen to anyone who doesn't agree with them. This is the most toxic and most dangerous because it leads to hatred in your heart. We see this approach in political tribalism and religious cults to be extreme, and even in creative circles that refuse to consider any other approaches to art. One of the type of bubbles we see today is a lot of elites, whether it's fine art galleries and museums, or it's top-tier executives in media, is kind of this looking at Christianity as naive and not worth celebrating or elevating. So we don't really want to look at healthy Christianity. We'll just take pot shots or dismiss religion as not worth our time. There was an even article in the BBC inquiring as to why modern art seems to hate the religious topics. Now, to be fair, there are parts of the Christian community that are also very entrenched in their own bubble. They don't want to understand the art world or even have a conversation. Perhaps the reason we have such a great divide is that both sectors are content to live in bubbles rather than growing through open discussions, starting relationships with people who think differently and can give them feedback. Now, as I speak on this, I'm sure you can see the problem in many spheres of society. Human nature is obvious. We are drawn to like-minded people, yet as Christians we're called to believe in a God and the gospel that goes beyond any small community. The gospel transcends all cultures, all viewpoints, ethnicities, and race. Christians should have no part in the bubbles of political tribalism, religious tribalism, lifestyle tribalism, or creative tribalism. Our identity must be first and foremost in the gospel. This we must hold on to unshakingly, and our belief in the gospel compels us to love others. So we ask questions, we get feedback. We're not afraid of that. It is inconsistent and illogical to claim to follow Jesus Christ and yet stay in our bubble out of fear, ignorance, denial, or despising others. The love of God compels us to do the opposite, to love others, to learn, to be honest, and to love our neighbor. What is the cost? Well, the cost of avoiding feedback and living in a bubble is great. Without learning to love new people, listen to new ideas, explore new perspectives, we're the ones who lose. We can see the cost in three particular areas. First, shallow art. If we're not listening to constructive criticism, we will be stunted in our creative growth. We may be content with trite sentiments or overused ideas and a lack of innovation. We may not be able to speak really well to the culture. Second is a shallow mind, void of the growth and understanding that comes from healthy questioning our beliefs in light of the gospel. Third is a shallow life, void of relationships that bring new perspectives and expressions of community. So here's the point. Pursue health, creatively, spiritually, and culturally. Refuse to live in a bubble. Seek healthy relationships with those who will give you healthy feedback. This can be hard. Far too many in our culture are quick to attack instead of listen. But we don't shrink back in fear because God has not given us a spirit of fear. He's given us a spirit of love and of peace. Our identity is in Him first. He's the one who loves you, and His love will never fail. So if you don't already, open your heart and your creative life up to feedback from others. Learn from others, love others, and you'll grow spiritually. Thank you so much for joining us for this video. If you like this video, please take 1 second, hit the like button, then the subscribe to our channel. That way you'll be the first to know when we put up a new video. Check the links below and also subscribe to our email. Learn about our online courses. We have courses for all kinds of things you're probably looking for. Check those out. As always, thank you for being here. Place any comments or questions down below, and I look forward to continuing the discussion.